Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Nerdy Multiverse and yet another breakdown. Today we will be breaking down and giving our initial thoughts on the first 2 episodes of the newest Star Wars series, taking place in the High Republic and quite some time before anything in the Skywalker Saga, The Acolyte. Episode 1 being titled Lost and Found, and Episode 2's title being Revenge and Justice. The titles of the future episodes will likely contain 2 different sides that contradict each other, just as Lost and Found and Revenge and Justice do, as 2 of the main characters, being the twin sisters, contradict each other themselves, like Yin and Yang. And with that, the first episode begins with the show informing us of what time we are in and what exactly is going on. As it reads, 100 years before the rise of the Empire, it is a time of peace. The Jedi Order and the Galactic Republic have prospered for centuries without war. But in the dark corners of the galaxy, a powerful few learn to use the Force in secret. One of them, a lone assassin, risks discovery to seek revenge. There is around a 13-year gap or so between the events of Revenge of the Sith and the Phantom Menace. So this series is around 80 years or so before the Phantom Menace, meaning it is actually the very end of the High Republic. And we likely could see the Jedi enter their darkest times, becoming more of politicians and soldiers than anything. We then arrive on a planet known as Ueda, where we see the first of the 2 twins, May, pay for information on the Jedi's whereabouts here. She arrives at a local bar and confronts Master Endara, played by Carrie-Anne Moss, aka Trinity from the Matrix movies. She commands Endara to attack her with all of her strength, but Endara refuses as the Jedi do not attack those that are unarmed. I think that this is a very big foreshadowing in a way to the future of the Jedi Order that we saw in the prequels, and how they ran with fear and turned to their lightsabers in almost any situation. After May attacks some of the bystanders around the bar, Endara is forced to intervene and the 2 then get into a fight of their own. Once May pulls out her knives and goes for the kill, Endara is forced to ignite her lightsaber, but May ends up using the Jedi's peaceful minds against them, throwing a knife towards the bartender, which takes Endara's attention away from May to save the civilian, which ultimately leads to the Jedi Master's undoing, as May throws a knife at her while she is distracted, killing her. Now, I know it seems pretty crazy that they promoted the show so much with Carrie-Anne Moss and her character just for her to get killed off in the first 10 minutes, but we do know from the trailers as well that there will be flashbacks with her, so she is not truly gone just yet. And something that you can notice about May and this entire situation in this bar is that she did not kill any of the bystanders or witnesses in this bar, something a Sith would have done without hesitation. She only went after the Jedi. Next, we catch up with the other twin known as Osha. And as soon as we saw her, I knew there would be a twin plot going on, as I immediately noticed that Osha's hair is shorter than May's, meaning Osha did not kill the Master. Anyways though, Osha is aboard a Trade Federation ship that is, of course, ran by Neimoidians, the same species as the infamous Nute Gunray from the prequels. Osha and her friend get ready for their mission to work on the ship out in space when he tells her that she missed out on a ton of fun when they were on Nar Shaddaa. Nar Shaddaa is the infamous smuggler's moon in the Hutt system. After one of the valves explode and set fire, After one of the valves explode and set fire while they are working on the ship, Osha gets flashbacks to something from her past because of the fire. But they do end up fixing it up as 2 Jedi arrive on board the ship, looking for Osha. Jedi Knight Yord and his Padawan, Tassie Loa. Now, Tassie Loa is a Zygerian, These same species that ran a massive slave trade during the Republic until they were overruled by the Jedi and Republic, which we saw take place in the Clone Wars. They end up meeting with Osha, and something that we can notice with Yord right away is that he is very cautious and uses his fear, as he immediately grips his lightsaber whenever there could be danger, not even if the threat is obviously there. They inform Osha of what is going on, and she says that she did not do it. And we learn that she used to be a Jedi herself, and she was brought in at the age of 8 years old, kind of like Anakin Skywalker. Unfortunately for her though, the bartender witness points her out, and she is put on a droid-run prison transport. We then arrive on Coruscant, where we see the Jedi Temple, which is actually raised much higher than we see it was in the prequels, as it is eventually connected to the lower parts of Coruscant. This is great symbolism, showing how the Jedi thought themselves to be higher than most of society. Inside of the temple, we meet Jedi Master Sol, who is played by Lee Jung-jae, who you likely have seen from the Squid Game show. He himself is actually a massive Star Wars fan, and he learned to speak English just to play this role, which I think is super awesome. Anyways though, he is teaching a group of younglings here to not trust their eyes as they can deceive you, and to trust in the Force instead. Master Sol reminds me a lot of Qui-Gon Jinn. As the teachings go on, Vernestra Rwoh walks in. Vernestra is the first character that was a part of the High Republic books crossing over into live action. Vernestra is a Mirialan, the same species as Luminara Unduli and Barriss Offee. She informs Sol of what is going on and that his former Padawan Osha is the prime suspect, worrying of what their political enemies would think if a former Jedi was going on a killing spree against other Jedi. Again, this is just major foreshadowing to the future state of the Jedi Order and how political they do get. On board the prison transport, the other prisoners plan and execute an escape, as Osha is left behind after she attempts to rescue another prisoner who just betrays her and takes the last escape pod, forcing her to crash land with the ship. Now back at the Jedi Temple, Master Sol looks over holograms of his former Padawan Osha as his new Padawan, Jeki Lon, enters the room. Jeki is played by Daphne Keane, aka X-23 from Logan. She wonders why Sol keeps old hollows of his Padawan, as it seems he has an attachment. Something that is basically forbidden in the Jedi Order, as it can lead to the dark side. Osha crash lands on a planet known as Karlak. This is the same planet that Ahsoka came into conflict with the Death Watch on in the Clone Wars. And after waking up, Osha sees a vision of a little girl running away, so she follows after her. And it turns out to be her sister May, and they run through old memories together, including their old home and the day it was all burnt to the ground. In this vision, her sister admits to killing Master Indara and vows to kill them all. Osha then wakes back up again, so this was a dream, but a Force vision nonetheless. After being informed of what happened on the prison transport, Master Sol, Jeki, and Yord head to Karlak to find Osha themselves and bring her in. On their way there, Sol reveals to them that Osha does in fact have a sister, but she has been dead for 16 years. He said he even watched it happen. They arrive on Karlak and track Osha down to a cliffside that she is slowly backing up into. She swears to Sol that she did not do it, and he tells her that he believes her. This is very reminiscent to the scene from the Clone Wars when Anakin caught up to Ahsoka, who was on the run from being framed for the temple bombing. They all head back to the ship without restraining Osha, and then we cut to a shot of a beach as May walks down it. A distorted or deep modified voice speaks, talking about killing Jedi without weapons, and how an Acolyte will do so, as an Acolyte will kill the dream. As May approaches a cliffside, a dark figure stands on top and ignites a red blade. So we are to assume that this will end up being a Sith. Possibly. And this is where the first episode ends. Right onto episode 2 now, as it begins on a planet known as Olega. Again, beginning with May making her way to a Jedi Master that she is hunting down. This time, she plans to kill Master Torben. But as she enters the local Jedi temple here, she finds Master Torben levitating in the air while meditating. She tries to attack him after he does not respond to her challenge, but it appears that he has an invisible force field surrounding him, making it impossible to physically attack him. So she leaves. On board Sol's ship, we can still see the cautiousness behind Yord and how he drives with fear. Master Vernestra contacts Sol and informs him that there has been yet another incident, so now it's obvious to them all that none of this was done by Osha, and now they will take her as an asset to Olega to investigate the situation, and possibly confront May. Back on Olega, May meets with her friend named Chimere, who cooks up a poison for her to use to kill Master Torben, and he says how pleased the Master will be if she kills a Jedi without a weapon. But something he says here really stood out to me, as he actually says, "Peace is a lie." This is the very first line in the Sith code. She heads back inside the temple, now with the poison, just as Sol and the others arrive on planet and at the temple themselves. It is revealed that Torben has taken the bearish vow. An oath taken by the Jedi who completely refrained from all activities related to the Jedi Order as a form of penitence, disengaging from anything but the Force itself and committing themselves to gain ultimate communion with it. We first saw this in a Darth Vader comic with Jedi Master Kirek Infila, and it was created by Jedi Master Barish Sylvan. Torben wakes up and tells May that he has been waiting for her. He apologizes to her and tells her that they thought they were doing the right thing, as he then willingly drinks the poison. Now, could he be apologizing to her for setting her village ablaze? And it wasn't actually May who did it, but the Jedi themselves. And now May is just hunting down the Jedi that are responsible. It's too late for Sol and the group as they arrive and Torben is already dead. Osha is found with the body first, so it looks really suspicious, but Yord was following her when she broke off after seeing another Force vision of her and confirms it was not her. They find the poison used and realize that it is Bunta, from Osha and May's home planet of Brandok. The Jedi locate Chimere and send Osha in to act as May and get information and a confession. It works out, but it also seems that Chimere knows that this is not May. So when the Jedi confront him, he starts playing stupid. I do not think that this is him cooperating with them. I think this is him just acting dumb to get himself off of their radar. I think there is much more to him than just being May's supplier, but more on that in a bit. The Jedi devise a plan to confront May as she will return here at night. So when the time comes, Sol confronts May, and she doesn't even challenge him though. She just immediately attacks him with all of her emotions. But he is just effortlessly defending himself, all while Yord watches them through his binoculars, which he needs to watch them from 20 feet away, I guess, but whatever, I thought that was kind of funny. After Yord intervenes and stops a knife attack from May, Jackie pulls their ship up and they plan to arrest May for her crimes. Yord yet again reaches for his saber, but May uses the Force to push up a giant dust cloud as she escapes. Osha listens in on the entire thing and she starts heading towards the city exit where her and May come face to face for the very first time since their home burnt down. Filled with anger, Osha points the blaster at May but misses her shots, and May drives off and escapes. After May's escape, Sol and the other Jedi intend on going after her as they are so close, but Vernestra does not allow it, as her and a few members of the Jedi Council want to meet with Sol and the others to discuss the situation. And for some reason, I do not trust Vernestra. She just seems too much like the Jedi that we see in the future in the prequels, and I would not be surprised if the Jedi burnt down the village on Brendok by her orders. The next day arrives, and Chimere is about to sneak out himself as May comes in and tries to attack him, but he effortlessly dodges her attacks and overpowers her. This got me thinking really hard. Along with his recitement of a line from the Sith Code, I am starting to think that Chimere is May's master, hiding in plain sight. Anyways though, he tells May that he can get them both out of there and they can head to Kofar, where the next Jedi on May's hit list resides. So after this, we actually cut to the planet of Kofar, which very much looks like Kashyyyk with the giant forest and luscious green environment. A perfect place for a Wookiee Jedi to live, which is who we see next as Jedi Master Kel Naka scares off a few scavengers and heads back into his home. I would not be surprised if he has been living here away from everything after what happened on Brendok. The same way that Torben took the bearish vow to hide away, and how Indara was among a bar and its patrons, possibly also hiding away. Anyways though, after the Wookiee heads inside, the second episode ends off. And overall, I thought that the first two episodes were decently good, nothing too crazy yet, but I am rather interested to see where we do go, and I love how we are in a time period before anything, so it is something brand new. So far, Master Sol is my absolute favorite character in the series, but I am sure as time goes on, I will enjoy the other characters more and more as well. This series is definitely nowhere near as bad as some people are putting it out to be, but then again, we all have our opinions, I suppose. I definitely enjoyed the second episode a bit more, but they were both okay. Now I will say they both kind of had abrupt endings to them, but whatever. And I think I would rate the first episode a 6 or 6.5 out of 10, and the second episode a 7 out of 10. I'm very interested to see where we do go, and I am honestly kind of excited, but also a bit worried to see this dark side user revealed. But I will say that I hope that we do eventually, by the end of the series, get some sort of appearance or mention to the major dark side users that were around at this time, being Darth Tenebris and his apprentice, Darth Plagueis, the future master to Emperor Palpatine. But yeah, that about does it for these two episodes, from me at least. But of course, I would like to hear your thoughts on these episodes as well, so leave them down below. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed our breakdown and review on these episodes, don't forget to give it a like, and with that being said, we will see you all the next time that we go through and explore the nerdy multiverse.